Hello friends and welcome to another video. In this video I want to show you how I compose music. The idea behind this video is to show you how you can kickstart the composition process very fast. Now I have no idea what exactly I'm going to be composing. All I know is that I want to compose an upbeat type of pop rock type of track, but these principles can be applied to any genre. So let's jump into the computer and I'm going to show you exactly what I do in order to kickstart my compositions. So here I am. The only thing that I have prepared in advance is an audio track because I don't want to waste time loading up what I'm going to be using in terms of the guitar sound. So I have that ready and I have a piano. Okay, but the first thing that I want to decide is what's the tempo. So here you can see that I have a BPM of 125 and that's just because I want something that it is upbeat. Now here I have a loop and I already have my track ready to go. So the first thing that I will do, and again, this applies to any genre for that matter, within consideration. But for now, for this type of music, what I would like to do is just go and decide what chord progression am I going to be working on. So I want to know exactly what type of chord progression. Now, maybe I could do this with the guitar, but for now, this is something that I do very quickly like this. So I'm just going to decide exactly what chords I'm going to be working. So it's a C major. And as I do this on the fly, it's a very basic chord progression that I've worked many times before. And there are many popular chord progressions out there that you can follow the same blueprint for that matter. So it doesn't really matter. I kind of know already what exactly I'm going for. You don't need to know music in order to do this. I mean, it does help, but you don't need to. You can literally just, you can find out about chords nowadays online and see what's, a popular chord progression without even knowing about music or anything like that. So let's see how that sounds. Whoops, that's not right. Whoop, that's not right either. So this is A. But maybe, yeah. Okay, maybe let's do another one here. Okay. So very basic chord progression. So once I have the piano, I want to make sure that I create this kind of atmosphere, or at least the bed for this track, right? So I have the chord progression, and the next thing that I would like to determine here is some type of guitars immediately, because I want to get this track going as fast as possible. So I have my tempo, and I have a click track here. Okay. So the next thing that I will do immediately is to find something that the guitar can complement for this. But again, you can use any instruments for this type of techniques here. Let's see how this is going to work. Okay, so I have a guitar here ready to go. I have a sound already. I want to show you what I'm using here very quickly. All right, so I'm using a preset. Pretty much that I have edited a little bit, but the sound is, there's a lot of delay. Okay. So I'm going to play something on top of that, and then we're going to figure out how this is going to sound all together. I like to do this with headphones because I really want to lock in when it comes down to the performance, because I'm going to be playing the guitar. So let's see how this sounds. Or let me see what I can come up with, because I have really no idea of this track. So let's just jam a little bit and then I'll record. let's say something like that, something very basic. Obviously, I'm using here the effects to create an atmosphere. So I'm trying to I'm actually cheating a little bit, but let's say that I want to go for something like that, okay? The timing was a little bit off. Oops. Bit off. For those of you who play an instrument, this is a crucial part to get it right, okay? I mean, we can fix it later on, but I want to make sure that I get the performance right instead of using all these other tools in order to fix the performance. Okay, let's say that I like that, okay, which I kind of do. So the first thing I need to do is to save this, okay? Well, let's say that this is core YouTube project, all right? The next thing immediately, what I would like to do with this is to duplicate that guitar part. So I will compose a separate track playing the same thing. Okay, I will bring this down a little bit, but I'm ready to go. Okay, so I have some sounds there. Let's go again. Okay, so this is what I will do at this point. I will hard pan one to the left and another one to the right. So this is what I got so far. So I have some sound, I have an atmosphere there going on, okay? At this point, I would like to decide on what I'm actually gonna be adding in terms of drums. So what I like to do for this type of tracks, and you can do this with any software for that matter. If you're using Cubase, Pro Tools, it doesn't really matter what you're using. Now I have Apple loops here. I can select some drums from here. But for this type of track, I like to use the drummer. And whatever, you know, the first thing that comes up, it usually works for this type of music tracks, okay? So that's it, that's all I need in order to get the composition going. Right away, I want to make sure that I add some bass very quickly. I'm trying to think in terms of, you know, just a 4 or 5 piece kind of band, really. So I want to go for a bass, maybe a finger whistle bass. I want it to be soft, not too much attack. So it's a S, G, and F. So that's my chord progression. Maybe a different bass, pick bass, let's see. Okay, easy. So it already has a feeling, and I'm only doing this for a couple of minutes now. So the next thing that I would like to do here very quickly is to add some strings. So let's create a new software instrument here, and I'm going to be doing this like this in the fly. So let's see that I want some studio strings, whatever. Okay, some violins, some cellos, why not? And see what I have here. Okay, so, oh, that sounds horrible. Maybe some violins. You know what? Screw this. I'm going to go for this. Let's see how that works. Okay. But then I have all of these things here. I don't want that. Okay, so let's do this like this, and maybe much better. Okay, so let's try that out and see how this works. going to keep it simple. Now, I'm already trying to mix this in as I am recording it, okay? I want to make sure that I have all the levels from the get-go. So let me see how this works. I can always change the notes later on as I change and work on the arrangement. I want to make sure that this last note goes all the way in. Okay, this first note started before. So I have my guitar player, my drummer, my bass player, and somebody that is playing the strings or some keyboard. So that's what I do. Okay. After this, I need some more movement, and I would like to add an instrument here. I usually go for a tambourine. Okay. Yeah, that tambourine. Let me see if I can find something here very quickly. So. I like that one. Let's just put that one there. Whoops. Something else, some shakers, maybe. Okay, let's put that there. I'm already mixing as I go along, okay? So this is something that I do earlier on in the process. You can see the fades very quickly, that they're all over the place, because I'm already mixing as I'm composing this track. Now, I'm working on a loop. This is what I like to do. I like to stack the instruments, and then I'm gonna build this track on a loop, and then I go horizontal and have an arrangement like an intro, a verse, a chorus, a breakdown, so on and so forth. But this is the way I like to compose, and it's a very easy and quick process in order to compose your music. Now, from this point on, I still don't have like a melody or a motif, okay? So this is where you have to start thinking in terms of a hook. At this point, I have the foundation, but I don't have an actual melody. I don't have an ear candy. So if I'm going to be lazy because I'm a guitar player, then I will definitely try to grab the guitar without changing the sounds or anything. I'm just going to use whatever I have there, okay? Just to prove a point that you can just come up with something very quickly. So let's see how this works. I'm going to just record that, okay? I lost the idea now. I can't even remember what I just played. Anyways, let's just see if I can grab this from the beginning again. What I'm going to do here, this is a perfect example of something that I would like to do at this stage. All right. Yeah, something like that, okay? So let's do that. Great. I should have recorded that. Oops, wrong track. This is what happens when you go so fast. drums is doing some funny things because it's not yet, properly programmed, or it's just as a reference anyways. I'm going to expand that drums. It's going to be a proper crash in all of this, but let's see how that sounds anyways. You can see it starts to take shape very quickly. Now, if I wanted to carry on with this motif, I will probably, what I will do here at this stage is probably record a different guitar part let me just duplicate that channel and change this here. And try to work with what I got. Now that I have a melody, and try to keep it simple, I will try to just get some more momentum going here. Let's see this one. Okay, a little bit of gain, too much gain. I don't want that boost. Yeah, there's too much noise. Okay, I'll probably do something like this. But I'm not going to record the whole thing, just this part here. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so the idea was to just compose a quick track, come up with an idea. Now, this might not be the most inspiring track that I have ever written, but at least I can have a whole idea from the ground up in a matter of a few minutes. And that's the purpose of this video. I am mixing as I go along. Okay, so the first thing that I will do after just being in this mode of locking myself in a loop is to actually develop this idea further and see what else can I add. Remember, I want to keep this as simple as possible and as raw as possible as well. But in terms of supporting this idea, what other instruments I will add, I will keep it within those instrumentation or those instruments of choice, I should say, which is the piano, guitar, bass, drums, and then the strings. I wouldn't add anything else. I mean, if I wanted to carry on composing this track and getting out of the loop, then I will certainly just add maybe another guitar to support this idea. Maybe some of the strings, but maybe a piano melody. I mean, something classic that I will do here on this particular track. I will probably bypass this melody. Sorry, this one. I will probably bypass that melody and maybe come up with a different piano, okay? I will probably do something like this at this stage of the composition. So have like a separate melody, like a different melody, okay? Okay, let's record something like that, okay? Not like that. This sounds a little bit repetitive, well, compared to what we already have with the guitar. that was a shit idea. Yeah, something like that. A little bit more busy. Yeah. Okay, let's say that I like that melody. Something that I will do here at this stage is that I will add some Super Valhalla just to really make it big. I'll probably overdo this along with this effect, but never mind. So what I like to do at this stage, once I have, that's like my second motif, by the way. So I'm thinking already in terms of arrangement. One is going to be the guitar, and then it's going to be this motif. So what I would like to do here at this stage, and this is just a lazy way of doing this, I need some other instruments that are going to be supporting this idea. And I'm going to go for this again. Not bass, viola, so I guess. I mean, I'm not sure if that's going to work, but what I like to do is just copy that and put it there and see how that's going to work. So the melody is being supported now by the viola, so I will probably bring this a little bit lower, okay? So right there I have a second melody, and the idea is to think ahead in terms of like, okay, I have already the guitar melody, which is very spacious. It's kind of like just laying the foundation. So maybe when the track is being developed and arranged, I want to have something that's a little bit more upgoing, or something that is more moving forward, if you will, a little bit more busy when it comes down to the motif. It's something that you can hear it and it's catchy enough, so you can very easily see this working in a commercial. And the idea is to be commercial, and the idea is to be as friendly, you know, in terms of the music. I want it to be, you know, they had this appeal for a wide variety of projects. So that's the idea behind this music track. So at this point I have two melodies. So I have this. And then I have this second melody, okay? At this point, again, I'm trying to mix and see, can I hear the sounds that I've just recreated, the melodies that I've just recorded with this particular track, can I hear them, right? And I want to make sure that they are, you know, there. Another way to check your composition, especially at this early stage, is that the chord progression and the melodies, or whatever elements you have, whatever instruments you have in place, they must be good enough and standing alone on its own. What I mean by that is that the composition has to be good enough just by playing, in this case, the piano in this second melody. Right? So if it doesn't make sense, or if something is off, then you know that you have not written the proper melody, or maybe it's out of key or out of tune or whatever. So it's very important that if I solo the piano and the melody and the cellos or violas or whatever I just recorded, as a standalone thing, it should be able to hold the ground of the composition. When it comes down to melody writing or writing a melody, you can see that I have a response, creating a tension. Like first is this melody motif. Okay, so I'm actually, it's kind of like repetitive, but the melody is creating a response to the actual first statement. And then when it comes down to the second part of it all, it just resolves, all right? It's very hard for newcomers or for beginners to actually let a space happen, to let it breathe, okay? So there's always this balance between how busy can I be with this composition, with these melodies, and how can I allow it to breathe? So for example, the first melody with the guitar is the opposite. It's a very minimal and it's very spacious, but at the same time, I'm creating this open loop. It's not resolved, the melody, okay? If I listen to it again, well, just with the guitar and the piano, sorry. It doesn't go anywhere, okay? So it's like an open loop kind of question. There's no resolution to that melody at all. There could be a melody resolution to that statement because it's just, but it's almost like a little intro or logo, if you will, right? It could be like easily like a logo for a brand, if you will, just that logo of that guitar part, that melody, okay? But it must be stand on its own. Again, if I only had the piano and the violins, let's say, and I will just play this, it should be able to be good enough as a bad version. If I was going to just take the stems like this as they are, it should make sense even with 2 or 3 instruments. So for example, I can use this as an example just for this composition. So the violins, because it's repeating the same thing, I'll probably change it there. Let's see if that works. Okay, so now listen to the violins because it's exactly what I was just explaining. So the violins go like this. All right, so it's going back to the same motif, but this time it's a higher note. So all of a sudden, the violins or the cellos or violas or whatever it is, yes, I think it's violins. It doesn't really matter what instrument it is. What I'm saying here is that the repetition is there, but then the second time around that comes that loop, the note is a little bit higher. And that's kind of like a resolution or the balance between asking a question and getting a response or having tension and releasing it. So, and that only comes once you have all the pieces in place and there's enough space to breathe. Okay, because a mistake that a lot of composers do, especially in the beginning, when it comes down to writing music for stock libraries or for music licensing in general, is that it's too many things happening. So you have to allow the music to breathe. In this case, if I'm playing this part to you, which is the guitar, and I'm dissecting exactly what's going on, and I have the piano, the violins, and the guitar melody, then the thing that is going to be changing is subtle things like this, like the violins the second time around, okay? So you get an idea very quickly of how you can start arranging your tracks before you even go horizontal. and before you start to overanalyze and overcomplicate things. The idea is just to keep it simple and to let the music write itself. The music will tell you exactly what you need to do, what you need to write. I'm not forcing this. I'm just allowing it to just tell me exactly what it needs. The more things I add, the more I'm trying to manipulate the actual track and the composition. So I'm just working with whatever I got. And remember, this track started just with a chord progression and this guitar. Okay, that was it. So from all of that, I have this now. You can see that both melodies can work fine, and if you can manage to put those two together, this could be something that can be added on later on in the arrangement and say, well, the first melody, first the guitar, I'm building this track up, and then there's a second melody, and then maybe all of them together. So you can see that how both melodies now, the guitar and the piano, work together very well because there's enough space between, okay? Like with those two melodies. It has so much space that actually both melodies work really, really well. I wonder how much more can I develop this if I'm going to start arranging this in terms of an intro, the verse, and then the chorus. So maybe I can start doing that. And maybe that will be a separate video so you can see the full development of this track. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see how I fully develop this track. And go through the whole process of just from an idea very quickly to develop something without relying on inspiration or the muse or any of those things. And just having a few things in place, like, okay, the tempo, what chord progression I have, what instruments I'm going to be using. Obviously, it's not a free-for-all. I just have a few instruments that I have committed from the beginning of the composition. And how can I finish this track? Mix it, master it, produce it, upload it, and, you know, and make a cell. Okay, so maybe we can do that. Maybe I can carry on with this composition and share that with you so you can see how the whole process is from start to finish. Let me know what you think in the comment section if you would like to see the whole development of this track, so maybe we can do this together. Anyways, thank you so much for all the love and support. If you're new to stock music licensing or to royalty-free libraries, download my free guide, link in the description. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I'll see you in another video, my friend.